Hey there. Angels are real. You can have any answer to any question. It's all direct. That's any topic, any answer. All languages are spoken. You just have to do a little bit of basic listening. And you have something called thinking. That gets in the way of just about everything, whether it's health, relationships, career, just having fun in life. What will you allow for is really kind of the heart of the matter because this is about you being in your heart and doing just a little less thinking daily. Thinking's not going away. It's the only obstacle to your own freedom, to your own happiness, to your own being or suchness, being in the moment, allowing for more. And also, the universe and the structure of everything around you and within you is a lot bigger than typically any one American or any person on earth allows for. That doesn't mean I know anything special, but I have for the last 15 years helped people let go to have a direct experience with the universe. Um, I'll try to pass along a few things. I don't like telling people stuff. I like for everyone to do their own figuring out, to do their own listening, and to do their own allowing and receiving. So that's answers, hugs. The hugs can become healing. I don't see a person's questions. I don't see a person's answers. This is entirely direct. People can do this as a group. There are Debbie Downers or doubters out there, and that's okay. I don't run into too many of them. Once in a while, I get somebody who is lucky enough to kind of have a little bit of grace to meet angels, and it's not that they chicken out. Everyone's good where they are right now. Even if you were the meanest person ever, you had a brief moment, you had a chance to meet angels, and then you were really mean afterwards, you're good. Do what you're going to do. You were going to do it anyhow, even if I didn't exist. If angels didn't exist, everyone's doing what they do. They're spending energy how they see fit. I have never met anybody yet in 57 years that's spending energy and they're going out for a whole week saying, I'm going to waste as much energy as I can. And yet, that's exactly what we all do when we're up here. And I kind of think that the point of life is to figure out how to be here more, how to take a breath, how to smile more, how to be more joy, how to find more inner calm, peace, to be that inner fearless, peaceful warrior. I'll try to pass along a few things that I know. One, the love itself is the fabric of the universe, that angels exist. Trust that this is so. Your answers and much more will come. I've been doing this for 15 years. Early on, I grabbed a sure shot camera, took photos of angels. I used to hand the camera to folks. They could take photos of angels. But after a while, you could just see directly. And there's a lot of ways to see. You can see little balls of light, other shapes, so it's not orbs. The human brain, society, our English language, our ego, logos, rationale wants to always seize on different terminology and to stick it that way. I think part of that is it would be example like the UFO community disclosure. There's so much chasing going on. There's not a lot of people who want to do the experiencing. And the same applies for angels. In fact, these loving beings have been around forever. They love helping. They're true unconditional love. They're not here to interfere. And that goes back to what you're experiencing right now is actually perfect for you. You've generated the experience you're having. How you roll is how you roll. How you spend your energy is how you spend your energy. Where you put your focus is where you put your focus. I wouldn't want to interfere with any of that with any person. I wouldn't want to change anybody's thinking. I certainly don't mind mentioning stuff. And if you're interested, take your own steps. But this is so fast, so quick, so easy. It's just being in the moment, being here, doing basic listening, basic feeling, basic seeing. The only people who might have difficulty are the ones who are stuck up here. And that's a lot of us. That's, in fact, all of us on any given day. I'll be stuck by, 4 o'clock later today. It's what happens when we're doing a lot of thinking and a lot of knowing. I'm not talking all types of knowing. I'm just talking the type of knowing that's the main currency of mankind. It's knowing that precludes possibility. Science is really good at that. Science says it can't be. Science is like, here's the limit. This is how it is. And I think you're going to find that most scientific discoveries don't last too long. Something else comes along, kicks it out of the way, and it's the new discovery. And that's the way it is with most of our thinking and our perception, our reality. Stuff changes. Life has a way of shifting on us so that we have to broaden our perspective. We certainly were much more wide open when we were little. And then as adulting kicked in, we got a little serious and stuff like that. But back to what I'm kind of talking about. You can have any answer for any topic, get advice for your career, for your business. Business people are some of my favorite. They're super disciplined. They know how to pay attention. They know how to listen. They know how to get out of their own way into their heart to perhaps write down answers and get what they need for their business model. Lots of individuals for personal reasons, if they've been through something, they have a situation, a problem they want to resolve, and they're ready for solutions, ready for help from the universe, they're also ready to go and get some answers down. But you can do it with your eyes closed. It's not automatic writing per se. It's just basic listening. There's, like I said, mankind has seized on so many different ways of limiting what we're talking about. You can have a direct experience with an angel standing right in front of you. And angels can show up in human form. I created the show 3 years ago, Angels, Positivity, and Love on YouTube. You're here now, or on Spotify. We're now on Spotify with one episode. We'll be doing 2 or 3 a week for the next probably 3 years. I think we have 400 episodes to put up. It's going to take a while. But I created the show basically to kind of give it away. I've been giving away the angel thing for a very long time. It doesn't mean I haven't taken paid business opportunities as well to teach people or help people let go to meet angels. But this is something that's really hard for human beings or for mankind to grasp. If if you really could have any answers to any questions, why wouldn't the UN and politicians and scientists jump at it? You can get your formula filled. You can hear the best way to allocate resources, the best way to follow your own personal growth path or your own life path. If you've forgotten what it's all about, what brings you joy, you can get that dusted off for you by angels. Angels are here not only to help, but they'll even they can alter your path. You signed up for something coming in, and they'll help you remember what that was. They'll help you get back on track. Um, it's again whatever you'll allow for. But it seems like mankind's not that savvy when it comes to paying attention. We like war. We like causing harm to others. We like corruption, money, power. We don't mind who gets hurt along the way. We're not very cognizant of the ripples of our behavior. We use hateful language and stuff like that. And I think we've seen a long history for thousands of years of humans, humans hurting animals, humans hurting Earth, and so on. I'm not here to talk about all that today. There's consequences for actions. Most people aren't aware of what they're doing. You're choosing where to put yourself in each moment, and there really isn't such thing as right or wrong. There's proper understanding, to quote angels. I'm trying not to go there at all. It's not really that important right now. This is just basically, look, there are loving beings, angels, but many other types. Light beings, Native American chiefs who are unconditional love. Here's Joy and here's Charlotte, two balls of light in this case, but here's a silhouette of an angel. That's my guardian angel and probably about 80,000 other people's guardian angel. Minn, she's very watery, oceany, Pacific Princess, Mother Hawaii, if you prefer. But angels can bring you a lot of different sensory experiences. You can smell flowers, you can smell lit sage through two screens. I often light sage on the show, blow it to the guests, they catch it. They can smell flowers directly at their end. I put up historical photos like Red Shirt, Native American chief, and Red Shirt can bring one of 60 sacred smells. We're not lighting anything. The guest just asks Red Shirt to bring, like, it could be sage, sweetgrass, desert pinon, cedar, pine, juniper. You get the idea. Douglas fir, tobacco, campfire smell, sweetgrass, and they smell it. But you can close your eyes and have a ceremony. You can meet up with folks. It's a very interactive experience, and people can do this as a group. So I truly feel like I'm off the hook. There's 106 testimonials. I'm guessing 16 to 18 videos, 86 or so written testimonials. My website's michaelandreford.com. Check it out if you wish. There's some high profile people who've written really nice stuff. And I feel like all the testimonials are very gracious, and I'm very fortunate to have those. And the testimonials certainly help. They have a lot of flavor. And if you're on the fence about any of this, it's a great way to go to just sort of find courage. So the show, I think there's around 380 episodes out as I tape this. 280 episodes are out for the Angels, Positivity, and Love show. I believe there's around 96 or 97 APL Spotlight series. It's just an offshoot of the main series. I love having really fun guests back on. I'll put them on the main show multiple times, but I'll also put them in the APL Spotlight series. It's almost the same type of show. And then there are mind, body, spirit panels. There's probably 22 or 23 of those. I've got a couple more I'm recording in the next 6 weeks. That's three guests, 90 to 120 minutes. They get to go back and forth on different topics, sometimes group feeling, seeing. They have direct experiences with angels. Um, it's the cream of the crop, those panelists who are coming on. They usually are very open and willing. There aren't too many that I haven't met before that come on the panel. And finally, there are solo talks like this. This should be around number 67 or 68 on the solo show format. I try to communicate every time the same thing, which is, hey, the universe is far bigger than anybody's allowing for. Not that institute on consciousness, not that institute on meditation, not that university of metaphysics or anything else. Humans like to do a lot of knowing. Most of our knowing, it's a type of currency. It's a type of knowing that limits. And so we're talking wide open stuff. You can talk to Plato. You can talk to Socrates. You can listen to Marcus Aurelius Seneca. You can go back and forth and have a two-way chat. You can do it while you're walking. You don't have to be sitting in perfect stillness and listening with pen and paper. It really helps to have the pen and paper handy because when you get going and you're asking specific stuff, at least I tend to not remember much. I may get the gist of it, but I really do wish that I would write the stuff down sometime. My listening to Angels book, it's been number one twice. I think it's been number two twice as well. I was on Coast to Coast AM twice with a woman host first, and then George Nuri second. The second time it shot my book up to number one. But my point on this is that book, with a really nice review by Anita Morjani. I haven't met her yet, but she was super kind to provide those kind words. That book was given to me by angels. I was typing and seeing balls of light. It is a very, I say, sophisticated book with a lot of content. I think I have one bad review. I say bad, but it's a one sentence review. I couldn't be luckier than to have that one sentence negative review. I think it says, I have a grand vision for people or regarding angels, but really the book has no content. And I'd say, okay, that's a great opinion, but it's, one of 7 or 8 billion people on the planet. That book has a ton of content. There's an appendix that I think is the most important part. There's Why Angels Now in there. The epilogue is by an angel named Dale, who coached an Olympic athlete that we all know won a lot of golds, who puts life into an undergraduate degree, graduate degree metaphor. The idea is you got to have one before you can have the other. And the undergraduate degree part is that there's something called thinking, and there's something about awareness or unconditional love or openness here. And until you understand the two flows in life, you really can't get going in life. You can't get going with what you're supposed to be doing here. You can't experience, we'll call it intercom, true joy, that 1 + 1 = 11 effect of being here on planet Earth. So the undergraduate degree is figuring out that there is a different flow. We'll call it, if you wish to get extreme, negativity, positivity, unlove, love, unconsciousness, consciousness. You can have 16 PhDs and be on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and Newsmax every other day and have $20 billion in the bank and be booked as a psychic for 30 years or have sold 100 million books. But that doesn't mean that your awareness is where it could be. Everyone is experiencing constant opportunities for growth and expansion. I don't think it ever stops in life. And I know that most of us with our thinking, we want to think that my problem is, my situation is, or we've arrived somewhere and we're enjoying it. We don't want things to shift too much. I get that. This is why angels are so beautiful. They already know where you're at. They see all the fields of possibility. They know your past or concurrent lifetimes. They know you better than you know yourself. They also know how to be very gentle, very kind, very delicate in their word choice. So while it's great that they speak every language, Swahili, Japanese, German, French, you can have your answers any which way. I've seen answers in Telugu. So it could be Hindi, it could be Telugu, Chinese, Mandarin. The point on this is something special that often goes not noticed is angels, for all these folks doing the listening, they just know how to work through your personality, your resistance blocks, what you know, the limiting type of beliefs. They know how to maneuver all that to say everything just the right way. It's like it's a frequency coming in that then turns into English and is managed in such a way that it's received by you in the most beautiful of ways. You're writing the answer down. and you take a look or you're listening and you're like, wow, that really helped. They know how to help you out for real. And they see how things can be done. They can work on your behalf and they can also alter your path. So that's kind of cool. So I have a lot of photos of angels. They're up on the website. I've charged $3 a photo and you put them on your iPhone and use them. They'll move. We know photos can't move, but these are photos of angels in light energy form. And I think I have 7 of them. The best bet is to get the book. It was $3.99 forever. Now it's $7.99. I was asking angels for years, can I raise the price? Can I raise the price? Can I raise the price? And then I think a few years ago they said yes, finally. So I think it's $7.99 now on Amazon. Some of the other spots, it's a digital book. I'd say it's a 15, 20-minute read. And it's like a half page forward, a half page intro, 3 or 4 pages explaining the how to, photos of angels, descriptions of the 7 angels that stepped forward. Archangel Michael is one of them. And there's no one way about the photos. I have, for example, this angel, I think 3 different ways, 4 different ways. The cover of my book is 2 balls of light next to each other that are these 2 angels. On the front page of my website, you'll see double overlapping white balls of light. That's Min again. And that's the Lakota Sioux word for water. There's so much to explain. It's not really worth it. It's not like worth taking all the time right now to do it, but there's an old man's face in this blue ball of light. That's Plato. If you need to look closely, you can see his eyes, his mustache, stuff like that. So these photos vary quite a bit. There's even a photo of a fairy. Here's Dale, who did the epilogue for the book, and there's a face in there. But see if I can find the photo of the fairy. I have a photo of Tinkerbell and a former employee of Omega Institute, a booker, a person who would organize the events at Omega Institute. She put in her testimonial, her last line of her testimonial, a written testimonial, and Tinkerbell was my very favorite. So that was super cool. Here's Ginger, a fairy, and I have her a whole bunch of different ways. So I just used to take the camera outdoors, indoors, take photos. I have a lot of them. I've been really lazy the last like 5 years. I've probably taken a dozen photos. But once you get a lot of photos, it's a good way to jumpstart people so they let go. Again, you can have your hand held by an angel as a physical, you feel a human hand. You can see them full on as humans. You can see them in sort of an Obi-Wan Kenobi fizzly way. And I don't mean too fizzly. They're actually coming in pretty clear. But you're not ready to really run over and give them a hug. But there's full-on humans. This angel was somebody else's guardian angel and showed up on a California beach for 30 minutes so that they could sit and talk to each other. I've seen this angel at a Starbucks in Austin when she was in full human form, just sort of watching me and my book editor do our stuff. And there was a point to it. So, no limits is really no limits. That's what this is about. I don't think there are a lot of groups out there that are really keen on hearing about no limits. You can, again, have all your answers. Most people are super shy about this, super nervous about this. Even if you're really brave and you get all your answers, it doesn't mean you don't react. The ego is like Julie McCoy out of Love Boat, if anybody remembers that 80s TV series. She was very organized and everything else. The ego is like this. Okay, well, angels exist. Let's get our answers. But the second it happens, the ego comes in and tries to pretend it never happened. You maybe get shut down, tight like an oyster. And that's another way to describe the brain. You're shut tight like an oyster, or the world is your oyster when you're here. Openness, closed-mindedness. There's a lot of perfectly great, wonderful, fantastically successful people or titled people who are good in their fields at what they do or recognized, who are completely unwilling to pay any attention to loving beings far that do circles around human beings. Light beings exist, aliens exist, if you want to say it that way, but it's really just loving beings from different parts of the galaxy. And there's different dimensional, if you want to talk about this in a dimensional way, just think of it this way. You're a much broader spectrum of light with personality, and you can show up in human form. You can kind of beam in. And there are Arcturians, there's Lyrans, there's a beautiful woman from Andromeda, a beautiful woman from um, Sirius, another one from I'm forgetting everything right now. Pleiades. There's a wonderful gentleman from Pleiades. an Arcturian. I think I said that. There's six, and I always forget all the different locations. There's a lot more than that. But the point is, I've only been doing kind of the galactic thing, I think, for like a year or two. And it's funny because it's actually much further back. Angels have started to give their origin stories. Not every angel, but she's got a, I always have trouble with this. I've blanked out on everything. My guardian angel, this one has a serious background. And I'll remember this one in a second. But just think some of those backgrounds, Pleiadian background and stuff like that. They're angels today. It depends. There's an angel named Joy. She's the emotion Joy. She's very cosmic. Archangels are like that. Here's four archangels as rainbow pie slices. There's three more off camera: Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. I I don't want to swamp you with too much for the photography. There's historical photos again. Remember, red shirt. Um, you get to meet them the way you're comfortable. You might sit like this and have them kind of come in the mind's eye. You might see the beach, be on a beach. Beaches are very comfortable for most people. And then they'll approach you. They might stay at a distance. And after a little while, you'll be sitting in a circle. I love doing it that way because it's kind of interdimensional time. 7 minutes of our time is like 15 minutes over there, and a lot more happens. You can have kind of a healing ceremony for you. You can hear music. You can hear angels singing. Um, if you've got a Buddhist background, it comes in Buddhist style. If it's a Zen background, you get it Zen style. You can meet Lao Tzu. You can meet Joshu. You can meet Buddha. You can meet Kuan Yin. You can meet a Jin who's East Asian mysticism, been around for eons, and just absolutely a jolly fellow. Wonderful. Energizer Bunny meets the Encyclopedia Britannica. Again, this is all direct. People can do this as a group and jointly, but you've got to kind of own it first solo so you've kind of had the fruit juice or drank the punch. Um, Thinking likes to block everything. It gets in the way. We know this because we're doing so much thinking all day long. But when it comes to a light switch on the wall or turning on the lamp or just how you turn on a TV, probably not the best example, that one, or brushing your teeth at night, falling asleep at night, we don't agonize over that stuff typically. If we did for a light switch, we'd be calling an electrician. Is my light bulb coming on too fast? Is it coming on too slow? I could see how thinking could make it the most complicated task in the world, but the ego has a limited bandwidth. If it's a radar, it's a very limited old school radar. If it's an airplane, it's a biplane or a crop duster that only has a half tank of fuel, gets tired quickly, but is pretty cantankerous. It can take over the show, can make a lot of noise, it can kind of rule the roost for a little while. The heart is an F-18. And angels are like some super ship or spaceship. They're absolutely even faster than your F-18. Um, so angels can be a lot of fun. You don't have to know much. You don't have to listen to me for all this. The book certainly helps. Again, if anyone thinks that's my language, my writing, you're absolutely the coolest. If you do have read the book, you think it was me that wrote the thing, put that down in a comment somewhere. I'll think you're the coolest. But I think it's pretty clear if you read the book, it's there's no way I wrote that, especially when you listen to me talking and so on. Look, we get guests on the show. They're there to obviously share their life stories, their mission, what they do, how they help others. But they often share encounters with the universe, with angels, with light beings, with UFOs sometimes, and stuff like that. And they take steps on the show. They'll catch lit sage. I'll put my hands up. They can feel the energy through two screens. They smell the lit sage through two screens. I will show light on my fingers, and I can take some of these steps with you in a second. It's light like out of the movie Celestine Prophecy, but as Sue Frederick, I love highlighting her out of Arizona, as she said, hey, before that movie ever existed, we were doing this in the 1970s. And in India, they do it this way. So nobody's got the market cornered on seeing light. You can feel selenite crystal if you put your hand up. You can hear selenite crystal consciousness speak with you. Mostly a female voice these days, but some people have gotten a male's voice. You can hear sound bowl singing or humming or vibration or sound like a sound bowl concert, a big one. You can feel it passing through you just by asking selenite to kind of play for you. And you can get answers from pretty much anything: tree consciousness, dolphin consciousness, deer consciousness. Your dogs talk. I have a pooch right here that I'm hoping does not wake up and bark. She talks like a fifth grader, fourth grader. Cats are like sixth graders. Um, Let me start taking some steps. I have a wonderful website, lots of details. It's not one of those short little one page, two-page things that funnels you straight into a workshop, a book, or sales, or having you buy a condo in Mexico. It's a lot of detail. And so it's worth taking a look at. This is something that's really hard to get your head around because it's not about grasping anything, believe it or not. You can't think your way there. All this is about actually less thinking, trying to get you to hear briefly for no thinking. You can't be thinking something your supermarket list to do basic listening. You're just one with the pen, one with the paper, or one with your ears, one with the heart. The heart knows how to kind of connect to everything. It's sports, it's yoga. When you're really letting go, you're actually like, wow, all my moves, the yoga class went by really fast, or the painting, the watercolor that you're doing, it usually takes 45 minutes. You did it in 25 minutes, or the run, no effort at all. It was one of the most enjoyable runs you've ever done. I'm a runner for since I was 14, so uh, can't do any math or think straight today. So 43 years I've been running. I love running. I get a lot of help with angels while I'm running. They can jump in your legs and help you. And that's where healing comes in. I try not to hear anybody's situation at all, no details. If you have to say something out loud, I have you pick a fruit name that is the code name for your situation. It's about your cousin, papaya. Uh, Cherries, that's your financial situation. Watermelon, each seed is all 100 of your family relatives. Banana, that's your health situation. I stay out of it. I just check. Did you get enough information on banana? And you're doing your own questions. You're doing your own listening, your own receiving. I love bringing in more than one figure. So you talk to three Native American chiefs, three angels, Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, whoever's your favorite. And you really get a feeling while you're talking with them, while you're getting advice. This is better than any corporate company that's like a consulting firm. This is better than any AI. This is better than really anything humans can come up with. This humans, AI, stuff like that. And then angels, universe. It's so big. And that's also why 15 years of doing this, I might as well have only been doing it a day. I feel like I'm still kind of getting out the gate. It's onesies and twosies here. Omega Institute was a lot of fun to do, but do people really get it? If they got it, why wouldn't you be asking the big pictures for mankind? Why wouldn't you be happier? Why wouldn't most of mankind be happier and relax a little bit more? I asked one angel, Dale, how fast, if humans really wanted to pay attention, we were all willing to listen. And I don't want to force anything, and not even basic listening on anybody. I said, though, if mankind was like savvy, that we were a species that wanted to pay attention to moving towards peace, not causing harm, better use of resources, just being kinder, gentler, happier, how long would it take for everybody on Earth to go sort of open up and expand a little more consciously? Now, for most of us, that's 30 years of life. Got to go through this, got to go through that. This happened to me, my car accident, my health issue back then the operation. And then out of all that comes a lot of wisdom, experience, and we feel like we've grown. He said 3 hours. Now, that was like 14 years ago. So I think the 3 hours has gone away a few times. That's my pooch Paisley. She's got a guardian angel. Pets have guardian angels. My poor Joy, who's named after Joy, passed away last October in 2025. I love her, but she came in the other day. I don't know if people watch NCAA football or NFL. When the players get introduced at the beginning of the game on an NBC or an ABC channel or CBS or whatever it is, the player will speak and say, Pat Smith, Miami University, John Smith, the Ohio State University. My Joy Joy, my blonde dog, I love her to death, came in and said, Joy, the dog, not to be confused with Joy, the angel. And that was the cutest thing I've ever heard. So why don't I stop talking for a second? I will read my favorite passage. It's on an old piece of paper, straight from Angels. And I kind of think this is like the equivalent of a theme song or a theme phrase. I think it's the gentlest reminder for all of us why this is more about just being in the heart. Shakespeare, to be or not to be. That's thinking or just peace. That's the question, but there's no question about it. We'd love to do more here. It's not practical to do it 24/7. Thinking's not going away from for humans. But when you spot that you're up here stuck, judging, reacting, stress, fear, worry, ego, negativity, Even if it's 1% of 1% negativity, 90% of our 99% of our thoughts are kind of a waste of energy, unfortunately. Ego is a waste of energy, waste of life. But that's going to happen, and you're okay. Don't judge it more. Don't beat yourself up. It's about letting go more, breathing more, enjoying the ride more. Here's a quote from just think of this as a collective group of angels speaking. Sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment, so too does laughter or a few kind words. Be compassion to all, do it. And I've got another one that's like the golden rule that angels said. And there's very little that I've memorized, but this is one of them, I think. I can do it. Regard others as yourself generously and without fixation. I love that line. Okay, and that's angels. There's no way I could have come up with that one if you knew me. So I'm going to light a little bit of sage. I got a feather around here somewhere, red-tailed hawk feather. You don't have to have that. I can just blow through the microphone that's down here today. I'm going to light the sage. You can smell the sage. If you've got to get kind of ready, go do your calisthenics, your stretches. I'm kind of kidding. You can get out of your chair, circle it, do the hokey pokey, do the chubby checker, do the Elvis. You can meet Elvis. You can meet Anthony Bourdain, Debbie Ford, hundreds and hundreds of figures. I've got those on the front page of my website. Many figures from India, deities, but a lot of the passed over gurus, the Maharishi, Babaji, Papaji, Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, Sri Kaleshwar, Rama, Gandhi, Mother Teresa. It goes on and on and on. Only love and above. Everybody's reconciled or smoothed out on the other side. And that's it. That's it. I only have one bit of rule or structure. Set your intent, just as you would before you set foot on the soccer field or the pitch if you're in England for football, before you play a pool game, before you go for a swim, before you have the world's greatest cup of tea. Set your intent. Angels, help me out of my head into my heart. Help me let go, enjoy the ride, get answers, get a hug, have a great vacation, go to bed at night. Thank you. And we'll just do it this way for this. Angels, help me out of my head into my heart. Help me catch a little bit of sage smoke in the air. Bring it to me. Thank you. Amen. Rock and roll. Om Sai Ram. Whatever way you roll, you got to own you. I can't tell you anything, but I'm forced to do a video here. So I got to talk, unfortunately. Unfortunately. And that right there, put an emoji down for me, show some emotional support. Even a few kind words go a long way. If you've got an angel story or just you've met an angel, mention that. Why not? I get a lot of comments though with people smelling the sage, seeing the light between my fingers, whether it's the show, this type of format, or I do these little shorts. That's where I get a lot of these views. I think we're up to 1.1 million channel visits, but most of it's shorts. Our show is super intimate, yet to be really discovered. But I would put this show up against any modern show with 750,000 audience up to 20 million audience in terms of what transacts on the show. 95% of guests take some sort of multi-sensory experience. They catch sage, they feel the energy, they see auras. I go wider with my hands and you can see objects in the light. A ball, a Merkaba, Jesus's face. Multiple people will see the same thing if it's a panel. We had two people see phoenixes, two people see red cardinals. It could be literally anything. And you can just have a hummingbird made out of light fly right up. Ask Joy to make a hummingbird for you. Might be a real hummingbird if it's springtime and, hummingbirds are around your area. They can show up physically. They can show up out of light. They can show up in a way that you swear they're real, but they're really not. So it's really the entire gamut from mind's eye to physically straight in front of you. They pinch you, you say ouch, you pinch them. They might not say ouch. They're angels. They can do anything, but they also know not to like abuse it. And that you're only ready for so much. So trust that you're in good hands. That's a big part of this. Okay, so I'm going to light some sage. You're going to just catch some sage through the thing. I might blow a little and push a little. I love talking, I guess, but it's the only way to tie up all your thinking so you get to your own heart and relax and enjoy the ride. Okay, here's some sage. If the lighter's going to work, luckily we have a backup lighter. Okay, there we go. Always got to have one of those around. And lit sage, sage smoke. Allow for a little bit of smoke. Some people taste it as I'm lighting it. There's a lot of intuitive people checking out this channel. So you've already probably smelled sage in your lifetime. If it's just campfire smoke, it's good enough. Some people get sweetgrass instead of sage. It could be anything. And ask for sage. Ask for flowers. You might smell blueberries. I don't know. It's up to you. And your angels know how to make you laugh. So ask for more. Catch an ocean smell. You missed Rehoboth Beach. You missed the Seychelles. You're from South Africa. You missed Cape Town, that oceany smell in the wind. You can get a wind in the room. You can get Cape Town. Um, you're from Antigua. You want a little bit of Antigua, and you're living in California. I almost sent that flying. Ask for something that's not right. If you're sitting in Hawaii right now watching it, don't ask for a Maui beach smell. Okay, I'm going to blow a little. See if you can catch, close your eyes if you want, catch a little sea spritz on the nose. Just allow, allow, allow. No try Yoda. I love doing Yoda's voice, but I'm using up so much energy talking here. We'll see if I can do it. I'll try it right now. Do not. There is no try. But if I can make you laugh, I tell dad jokes. I only have had about 5 humans in 10 years get really upset that I tell dad jokes. One was like, "You're the children's book author of spirituality." And I was like, "Okay, what are you going to do? You cannot make people all happy all the time. You can't even make them happy half the time. If that was the case, whew, you would be happy, or at least half the people around you would be happy. You can't make anybody do anything. You can't make people even understand or grasp the possibility that we're this close to a broader consciousness, broader awareness. Anytime you want, you don't have to go to an institute. You don't have to take a workshop. You don't have to buy my book. You don't have to do much. You do have to pay attention this much more. You do have to drop out of here to get to here. And you do have to find a way to navigate your own ego, unfortunately, which can be like a prison warden or out of Cool Hand Luke, that guy with the sunglasses and the shotgun. Your ego is pretty sophisticated. Even if you get a little liberation through, let's say, a session with me, or you watched the show and you did a couple of things, the next day you might have tightened up. Ooh, that didn't happen. Oh, I'm not ready yet. I'll start next week. 2 years goes by and you never started. Welcome to being human. And that's what happens for all of us. It's happened to me. First time I'll show light. First time I saw it in some HBO movie, I was like, I can do this. And I put my hands up. I'm sitting on a couch. I'm hyper comfortable. But I saw a white light everywhere. And then I panicked. I ran to my kitchen. This is 2 houses ago in Austin, Texas. I'm an East Coaster originally from Mid Atlantic, New England. Went to high school outside of Boston, college up in Vermont. I panicked and ran to my kitchen. I was like a fish in a fishbowl, panicked. I was doing circles, hands flailing around. What did I just see? What did I just see? It was beautiful. And when you first see rainbow light, holy cow. If you see rainbow light today, hit pause, run out to your local 7-Eleven and buy a lotto ticket. That's how special it is and how much fun it is. Blue sky is number one for a background. Shut off TV or a dark area. It doesn't have to be a gray sweatshirt. You can use any color if you want. You just have to be more cocky, confident, comfortable. But like, see these streams of light? There can be balls of light around the light. First thing in the morning is before you can speak English, before you've had tea, brushed your teeth, go out and take a look at the recessed lights or in the bathroom or wherever. And if you see beach ball size rainbow light, appreciate it. You should be like, ooh, pretty. It's like seeing fireworks. It's really amazing. That's your heart connecting to the universe. You could argue on this one, it's like your fuzzy eyes. But either way, the more you start thinking and you start judging it, like, am I seeing auras? What am I seeing? You'll notice it starts shrinking. And finally, you think it to death and it's gone. That's kind of what this is about. You don't have to think about anything. All of this is, you don't have to do anything. Slow down the doing to eventually you stop the doing. Trust that angels are in place to get your doing done. You just have to be savvy enough. And I mean savvy like when a pirate is saying savvy. Um, Maybe they're saying savvy. I don't know which. But the point is, you just have to be savvy enough to realize, oh, I don't have to do it all. I don't have to overwork, overthink, stress, worry, fear. I don't have to live up here or be controlled by others' narratives. There's a huge effort right now to censor narratives, to live in fear. You have to do it this way. You got to do this. You can't do that. You can't think this way. You can't think for yourself. Blah, 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 blah. What a fantastic system, checking in with unconditional love beings who have been there and done that with all the human machinations going on for 10,000 years. What a great way to check in and figure out, like, what do I really need to pay attention to? And you're going to find that joy, happiness, you being you, doing what you love to do is the single most important thing. You're much bigger than people realize, than you realize. Your flow of life through you is tremendous. There's very few people who are shut off completely from life. We certainly knew Ebenezer Scrooge at the beginning of Christmas Carol At the beginning of that little 82 or 79 page book, depending on which edition, um, we knew he was shut off down to like dental floss at the beginning of the book. But by the end of the book, he's the biggest joy giver. Now, that was probably 2 minutes of transformation time and dream time with angels and others, the ghosts of Christmas, past, present, future. Not everyone's going to have such a smooth and amazing and quick outcome to flip 180. There are people who in this lifetime will not be taking any steps. And there are people in this lifetime who are super corrupt, super mean, super evil if you want, but try not to judge too hard. Try not to put your focus on them. Are you shocked that there's gambling going on in this human casino down here on Earth? You can't be. But there's also a lot of nice people, and there's even more nice people than today who have come in to help Earth kind of open up a little bit more. Let's see some energy right now. Okay, so this is auras, consciousness, light, a force from Star Wars. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's pretty. And that's just like what Piglet did with Winnie the Pooh. Piglet asked Winnie the Pooh, "How do you spell love?" And Winnie the Pooh said, "You don't spell it, you feel it." And I just love that. That's all this is. I'm going to put up some light. You're going to see some light. And hopefully my voice doesn't go too faint here. Okay, you're going to see a little filament of light between my fingers, a little stream of light in 1 second. I'm leaning way forward here to keep my clipboard from falling. Okay, give yourself permission to let go, and you'll just see a little stream of light between my fingers. If you're shy, just put an emoji down, like a fire symbol or a happy face or whatever. But if you're seeing colors and you're bold, go ahead and put some colors down or what you're seeing. Even if you're watching this in 2030 or in Germany and it's in German, that's okay. I'm going to go bigger and wider. For people who have let go, you can see a broader flow of light and allow for a shape to show. And if you don't see anything, that's totally cool too. Don't worry about it. See a little filament of light. There you go. Okay. The point was just to do something. We do this on a lot of shows. I forget sometimes, but most of the time, 95% of guests, at least if I put my hand up, they feel some heat, energy. I blow light to them 3 times, usually small, medium, and large. That's pretty big. We do that towards the end usually. I put up angel photos. What else do I do? I blow the sage if I didn't say that already. Put up the selenite thing. That's been big in the last 4 months or so. Hadn't thought of it before. Always try to think of new things. You can just see angels standing right behind me. People have seen my passed over dog, Joy, and that's really cute. You can meet loved ones and your pets. You got to own the angel part first. This is so big that it's really hard to kind of acclimate to it, or you get it done and it's really hard to decompress because you're so like not high, but no one's used to living completely out of their heart unless you're a naturally happy, bubbly person. There's a few of those out there and they drive other people nuts. Why do you think they drive them nuts? Same thing with dad jokes. If they're good dad jokes, I'll tell one right now. Where in a hospital is the worst place to play hide and seek? Where? In the ICU. Now, there's people who go like this, and that tells me something about the person. It's not that I'm judging them, but they're not somebody you're probably going to want to hang out with at that exact moment. Maybe they're having a hard time. But there's plenty of people who will laugh at that joke. I'll tell another one. Where do rainbows go? Where do rainbows go when they're bad? Prism, but it's a light sentence. Call that a social justice joke. It doesn't really matter. Let me think of something else to do. Here's Joy, the angel, that I like to do first. Some people from India insist on Shirdi Sai Baba, and you can't blame them for insisting on who they're most comfortable with. That's who they know. That's who they revere. So here's Shirdi Sai Baba, a colorized photo, the Indian guru from 100 plus years ago. He's absolutely wonderful. You can see him move in this photo. You can catch an Indian temple incense wafting through the air. I haven't lit anything. If you want to close your eyes, you can see that temple. You can see him walking out of the temple waving high and speaking to you. Hit pause if you want to take some time and you're the type that doesn't mind meditating for 5 minutes. You can call that just being still if you don't like the word meditation. You're having a reaction, then just let go. Meanwhile, if you're back, here's Joy, the very first angel that I do for most folks right off the bat. She's very cosmic. She's your ambassador to all of this. Your ambassador for letting go, having more fun, enjoying the ride, so to speak. She's Joy. She's got a really high, peppy voice, like, ta-da, hi, 29, 28 years old. People have done joint seeing to see her at Omega Institute. I at least had two, three, four people, whatever it was, do joint seeing. They saw her as a brunette. Now, they wanted to see her as a brunette. That's what Angel said. But 95% of the time, she's blonde. Once in a while, redhead. And angels can do Hollywood wardrobe. If you're in India having an Indian ceremony like this, or just seeing in your backyard, she can dress up that way. Native American chiefs will blend in and join the India thing, or India figures can show up to the Native American ceremony. Angels will be there. Light beings. I would have thought light beings are so big, they're like whales. Angels are like dolphins, that there's no way a light being could show up as a full human figure. I found out, I think it was August of 2024, that that's no big deal. Obviously, it kind of is a big deal. I think they're under sort of house rules while they're here. That's the best way I know how to say it. They do drink the coffee when they're here. That was my contribution to research on angels. I asked Charlotte when she was at that Starbucks, did she drink the coffee while she was here? And she said yes. I did not ask who killed Kennedy or anybody else, since we have so much intrigue going on the planet these days. Angels are aware of all that stuff. It's just routine gambling going on in the casino. Something bigger's up. There's a higher vibe coming in. Call it love, consciousness, awareness, support, expansion, growth, um, just more light flowing in to help all of us. If you wanted the simplest way to just get going, just say yes to the universe, yes to love. If you could remember to do it maybe once a day, once a week is fine. There's no rule or fast way to do this. Just say yes to the universe. I prefer you use the word angels if I can be a kind of a stickler. Just be like, hey, angels, I don't know anything about this, but I'm saying yes. Can you find a way to bring more humor in, more fun? I'd love sparkly people who make my day. Whether they're strangers, we're only going to talk once, or whether my group of friends expands to such a fabulous group that I am having fun all the time. And may I have success in my career. If I haven't figured out what my career is, can I start getting dream time help? If you want to punt, that's the safest way to punt. Dream time. Most of us don't remember our dreams. Ask for help when you put your head and hit the pillow. What do you think happens? Angels can get very involved, so ask for help while you're sleeping. That is a safe way to not have to roll up your sleeves and do much work. But if you are the type that can meditate, or I'll call it take a nap, just don't do it where you sleep and not necessarily where you watch TV. You can put a beach towel down and put a pillow down. Get a stuffed animal if you want a stuffed animal. Grab that tiger right there, put it under your arm, play your favorite music. It doesn't have to be perfectly quiet. Um, Let angels do the rest. You'll see light on your eyelids eventually. You can see a figure. You can have a chat. You can have your relatives come in. Let Joy or your favorite archangel, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, your guardian angel. You can meet your guardian angel. Have them bring in that aunt, that uncle that you miss, your pooch. Um, the most important thing is to know that you really have no limits here. Sure, you're going to hem and haw about stuff. This gets to be feeling like you got to go mow the lawn and you don't like mowing the lawn and you haven't mowed the lawn in 3 weeks and the grass is really tall. In fact, your mower's kind of broken in the garage and you've been talking to your neighbor about maybe borrowing theirs. You thought about getting a service to maybe cut your lawn on a regular basis. It can feel like going to the dentist, having to do pull-ups. You've not done pull-ups in 5 years. It could feel like you haven't done the laundry in a week and it's built up. Yeah, welcome to being human. But I'm just here to say all of this is really easy. Like Audrey Hepburn. This is Sri Shirdi Sai Baba and Audrey are my favorite two photos that will move. And we know photos can't move, but Audrey Hepburn will move in this photo. So let her do her thing. She's an angel. You can catch a perfume from Paris or Milan that's uninvented if you wish, that just floats your boat, rocks your boat, I guess, is amazing. What will you allow for is constantly the rub here. What are you already allowing for before we brought up the topic today? Here's Audrey. Let her do her thing. She'll move, wink, smile, eyebrow goes up, hands move, shoulder waggle. Your brain's going to be like, oh, I didn't just see that. And your heart's like, oh, pretty smile. She smiled more. Close your eyes, let her come in. You can feel a hand on your shoulder, small of your back. Let her put light through you. I always describe that as if you're at the beach, in the water, looking back at your umbrella. Safe beach, safe water. You're waist deep, and a wave kind of comes by, lifting you 1 inch off the sand, dropping you down. And that wave is followed by another wave, nothing too big, just a very gentle lift it off the sand, your feet, and then you're dropped gently back down. The next wave, you're lifted off. Her putting her hand on the small of your back, you can get a hug that way. 1 million ways to get a hug. You leave your eyes on the photo, ask Joy for a hug, get a hug. 1,000 ways to feel a hug. Goosebump on the back of the neck, yummy in the tummy, a wind in the room, warmth, general warmth, sparkles. Try too hard, you get it on your toes. You feel tinglies on the back of your head. I could keep going on 1,000 times. There's no one way. But if you like the hug, just be like, Joy, thank you. May I have another, please? You can't have too many hugs. And the hugs can become healing, but you have to be kind of all in, trusting that this is like legit energy. You're having a legit experience. You're okay. At the end of the day, thinking can take 20 years on one topic and just keep you going, spinning forever, like on a Peloton bike, spinning, 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 and you go nowhere and you've exhausted yourself. And that's how people get ill, is thinking, or thinking something that you believe to be true when the broader possibility is much cooler. After all, I love what an Olympic commentator said during a marathon, like sporting event. They were commentating on the marathon stuff. They said, experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. And I was like, oh, I'm going to try to remember that. And I did. Um, so everything is perfect as it is right now. That's what angels, I'm pretty sure, would tell you. And that's a hard one to swallow because you're like, but, what about this? There's corruption over here. That country's invading this country. And I know that this is going on over there. And those are bad people. You can only control a few things. And I'm going to borrow from Eat, Pray, Love. You can control what you're going to wear for your clothes, choose what you're going to wear. You can choose where to put your focus. And you're kind of like a ball of light, and you can only reach so far, although you're much bigger than a ball of light. You can actually expand way out with your light. So I shouldn't put it that way, but uh by choosing where you place your focus and choosing your frequency, your vibration. You can be real low and real like quiet, low frequency, like, ugh. You can be down in the negative with your thoughts, hating and judging and really reacting and rejecting and knowing way too much, precluding all possibility. You're doing concrete thinking. These people are bad. Absolutely no one's ever going to change. I'm completely right. I'm therefore the number one. Blah, 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 blah. The ego just goes on and on and on. Everyone does it. It's a giant slipstream of unconsciousness across the globe. That's why when you complain about a neighbor or complain about this situation, Eckhart Tolle covers that really well. You're resisting what already is. And he's got those 3 simple steps you can take to resolve any situation. Walk away from it, address it, and blah, blah, blah. Accept it as it is. So there's just this incredible frequent your energy constantly moving, shaping. You're not limited. You have so much more to you than you could ever imagine. One of the places you can visit is the Akashic Records. You can meet with angels who I call like librarians, but they're bigger than that. They can help you with your life path and understanding where you're at and how everything came to be as it is today. I think that's kind of cool. Um, what else? Time just seems to fly when you're meeting angels. You're having fun. So they're here to help, just allow for it. The book is on Amazon. I have a really easy Amazon kind of way to find me on Amazon. My Amazon author page is just amazon.com/author/angels. So author/angels right after amazon.com/. So you get to that, and I got some other books. Glow Stick Zen is this long book as I was popping. It's 2/3 written by the crew, Mary, Buddha, angels, others, a collective voice. The zany parts, the 1/3 I get credit for. Um, I must have written it. But I was also seeing balls of light as I was typing. And here's Archangel Michael. If anybody wants to listen to him, just ask him, hey, Michael, what do I need to know in life right now? And hear a little whisper. If you're shy or just not so sure, you might only hear a word or get a feeling. It might be relax, let go, listen. I'll be quiet for a second or hit pause. If you need extra help, go take a shower, go for a run, walk the dog, watch a comedy movie, have a cup of tea, breathe more. Don't leave your mouth fixed. Don't try to listen like this. That's like the dog that doesn't want to go for a walk. That's not what this is about. It's about basic listening. If you've ever done listening in your entire life, which you have, you've had to have listened once in your life. That's all this is. Just ask them, hey, what do I need to know in life right now, Michael? And you're going to hear a groovy answer and say thank you and get a hug. Get 5 hugs. Why settle for 1 hug? And you can get Shaktipat, Samadhi, Satori, whatever you want to call it. Universal light coming in, the Om, broader consciousness, whoop, like a guru touching you on the forehead. I've started to touch people on the forehead through the screen. It's angels really doing all the touching and doing the Samadhi, Shaktipat, whatever that is, the rippling of love and light through you. I don't know much. I don't remember much. But let's see if I can come up with one last. I'll read a couple quotes and see what comes out of the quotes. Here's here's how cool angels are. If you asked for a definition of compassion, and let's say we had 100 people listening for a definition of compassion, and 100 people checking in with 100 different angels, and they did this every day for 10,000 days. I don't think any two definitions have to be the same. Angels are that not wily, but they're that creative in finding ways to find a new way to define love or compassion. Here's just a few definitions of compassion. Jesus, around 2015 or so, I think, 2014 maybe, said compassion is open eyes and an open heart. And Raphael said compassion is releasing fears and judgments. Abe, the Abraham of old, an angel who's masculine energy, a grandfatherly figure on everyone's team. You can see him in human form a lot. He said compassion is not judging, taking action with no thought. And Dale, the angel mentioned before, said compassion is just being and trusting the outcome to be of the highest intent for all. And there's a Mac. Don't call her Mackenzie. She's everything like plants, animals, nature. She's got a Pleiadian background. The blue ball light was Orion. That's who I was trying to think of. I went blank. Max said, compassion is treating every moment with the awareness of a newborn baby. So I'll do a couple quotes. I always love these quotes in particular. Um, Gary Zukav, Seed of the Soul. Not sure I'm going to have him as a guest on the show. I've tried a couple times. So not this lifetime. But you change the way that you shape the light, which is flowing through you by changing your consciousness. And I'll leave you with, and the Einstein said, I've got it right next to that quote, the only source of knowledge is experience. But I have one from 1977 Star Wars where Obi-Wan Kenobi is speaking with Luke. And here it is. Luke, you're going to find that many of the truths we cling to depend on our own point of view. And I think that sums up all that knowing that precludes possibility. It doesn't mean you're not right. Last time I checked, every single person running around on planet Earth is right. I've never met anybody who's running around and they're wrong. Um, but let's do one more quote because these are fun. Uh, Mother Teresa said, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. So love is like a constant. Mary said, and this is one I sometimes forget. Mary said, love is constant or love is everywhere. Open your eyes to find love. It's in you, it's around you, it's the force from Star Wars, it's the fabric of the universe. So anytime we're doing thinking up here, we're out of here. You can't be doing both at the same time. It's like being pregnant or not being pregnant or half pregnant, not possible. So it's what Wayne Dyer said about a hot shower. Generally, you can't get in a hot shower and be really upset. You could sing in the shower and be even more happy and relaxed. But I love showers. I use showers between sessions to kind of clear out. I use sage to clear out as well. Um, I'll put up Geronimo, Native American chief, older. He's action, dry wit humor. He's not formal and proper like most of the other Native American chiefs. Crazy Horse, Red Cloud, Sitting Bull, Chief Joseph, Black Elk, White Buffalo, Calf Woman. He's more like, yeah, nah, duh. You already know the answer. He's a little bit of smart alecky. Um, and he can do idioms, expressions from like the 1930s, Bowery Boys, 1950s. Pour a little coffee in a demi-tasse for him. He says, fill her up, bub. And I start laughing right away. Just he knows how to brighten your day. He's already got the answer before you've got the question. And he's really an inner fearless, peaceful warrior. He's here to help you find your best self and to be your best self and to be your most loving, kind self. But he could be come across as fierce too. Here's older Geronimo. Go ahead and ask for one of those sacred smells from him, tobacco, sweetgrass, juniper. Close your eyes, he'll give you a vision. Or leave your eyes open if you need a baby step. Just ask him, Geronimo, what do I need to know in life right now? Listen, ask for a hug and get a hug. He'll probably come in, hit pause on that, back it up, hit pause. If you don't mind hitting like, subscribe, share, comment. We're like 40 people, 45 people away from 3,000 subscribers. This is the slowest growth on the planet, but not to judge it. Angels keep saying it's perfect the way it is. That's why we're jumping over to Spotify. Supposedly, the Spotify model is better for spiritual and wellness. I mean, this is legit. We have balls of light flying by, shapes, not just balls of light, shapes of light tumbling by in the middle of the show. Angels for the most part, although we had interdimensional Jesuses show up on one. And it's not just one particular guest. We've had two different South Africans, one living in France, one living in Germany. Heather the Angel, she makes hearts in her photos. She flew by during one of those shows. It was really cool. Here's Heather. This is a heart, if you can believe it. I've seen her in human form. I met her as a full-on human in Austin, Texas, and Sweden, in Hawaii, Las Vegas, New York. I think it's 5 places, and I named 5 places. Here she is, and I got a lot of heart photos. Go to my website, find the angel photo page. There's this. Um, she can come through as African or come through as an Amazonian kind of goddess-like warrior. She's tough. She's cool. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of angels, all shapes, sizes, colors, all unconditional love, different purposes. Here to remind you of this or that. Your angels on your team can change up. You got a big cheerleading squad. It's not like a soul angel that's like this, although for some people, the angels are asleep for those people because they're just not paying attention or they're just way off the reservation. No offense, chiefs, but these people are, you know, they work for a big agency. They're doing corruption. They're taking money. They're harming humans. They're trafficking this, that. That stuff happens. It happens a lot. I had no idea how big it was on planet Earth. I guess I've lived 57 years with not my head in the sand, but I assumed humans were much more curious and open than perhaps they are at times. But what I would say is they have an immense capacity to love more and allow more anytime they really want. So I don't know how to say it. I probably won't say it. I'll let angels just say there are complex situations, complex people, and there are simple situations. There's open people, there's loving people. Everyone, everyone has a big heart. Are they using it all the time? Could they use it more? Who knows? That's for each person to figure out. That's the beauty of life on this planet. That's why freedom happens when walls are removed. And how do those walls get built? Listening to others, don't listen to me, or listening to your ego. Ego and thinking likes to manufacture bricks that are used to assemble walls. As soon as you start knowing something, you're blocking possibility. So the more you can get kind of up to speed with the concept of just being in the moment, the sooner you're allowing stuff to come in for you, to happen for you in a positive way. Okay, let me think if there's anything else. I'll put my hands up here in Texas. It's 2026. Happy 2026. If you have liked, subscribed, shared this, or put a comment in, you're the best. Thank you for doing this. If you're sticking around this long, I like putting in extra stuff at the back end of the videos, whether it's the shows, the panels, and stuff like that. So definitely, these are the types of shows where stuff really does happen. Put your hands up. Feel what you can feel. Don't judge. If you need to close your eyes, if you, my unofficial rule, breathe through the mouth, 1 millimeter open. Don't be a professional nose breather if you can help it, unless you're trained in Tibet. Shoulders going up and down equals breathing. And relax. Who cares? Here's another dad joke for you. What's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips. Although iris is a perfectly good answer. See if you can feel a little bit of warmth, heat, sparkle. Try too hard, it'll be on your toes instead. And now I'm only gonna, you leave your hands up if you could. You can go further out, go kumbaya, get comfortable, sit back. I'm gonna push energy your way, but it's really me whooshing angel light or universal consciousness or the Om consciousness or the Force from Star Wars. Call it whatever you want. You're the only one that matters on how you want to label it. This stuff. Here comes the first whoosh. And again, my microphone's down here. If it looks like I'm not blowing out birthday cake candles. I'm blowing into this microphone to reach you. Only 11 above. We're asking angels to chaperone this, and not my thinking side, bill paying side. I'm going right back to hardcore thinking in an hour so I can be like everybody else on planet Earth. But be like Mike. I think that's the Mikey likes it. Life cereal, or it's another advertising campaign. The point of this, talk to your angels more. You can do one way talking. You don't have to do any listening. This is the genius part of it. Be like, hey angels, I know you're there. I'm scared to listen. I'm scared to go quiet. I'm scared to go total like full stop. I'm afraid to be here. But can you make it nice? Can you gently ease me into this pool of consciousness? Can you help me wisen up? Can you help me open up? Can you help me open openness? Can you help me have more fun with career? Can you help me have more fun at work, more patience at work, more patience with myself, more patience with others, more love for others, a broader perspective? Can you help me travel abroad? I want to do some safe travel abroad and have a lot of great experiences and meet exciting people. Okay, here comes the first, like, what are you putting out there? Forget angels exist. How are you rolling as it is daily? Good luck with that. All of us are pretty tough on ourselves. We're tough on others. A lot of guests, and I've mentioned it before, always mention go to the mirror and say, I love you and mean it. And it might take 1,000 tries, 1,000 licks at the Tootsie Pop to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll. I love TV and movies and TV shows and advertising. That was the Tootsie Lollipop thing. Um, so, how many times does it take before you start having a massive reaction in the mirror? You start feeling the love. You might be crying, letting go of the trauma from 10 years ago or from last week, but it allows you to kind of crack yourself open and to go bigger. And that's kind of cool. I do help people see their soul. You can see me on the other side. I come in as full light. I have no idea what I tell you. I'm safe. I don't see your questions. I don't see your answers. And when you go to the other side to chat, I stay out of it. I have absolutely no idea except for what people want to share with me. If it's positive and fun and I could hear it, share it. A lot of people are very kind and considerate. In the old days, I used to go over every question, every answer with folks. We recorded a lot of answers and questions. I think 80% of the content that people go through, how can I have more fun in life when we see those answers? It applies to all of us. Sometimes they're very situational if it's about a particular divorce, but all the people going through divorce usually appreciate those answers as well. So there's a lot of collective wisdom getting shared that I just love. Okay, here it comes. If you need to let go more, make a circle with your hands, flick some finger paint, exhale like a whale, and here comes the first whoosh. If you're ready, just say yes at home out loud. You're in an apartment, you're on a park bench, you're in a house, you're in the backyard, you're in someone else's backyard, who cares? You're on the airplane, then maybe quietly mouth the word yes. We don't want people looking at you. Okay, here we go. And just feel a little whoosh of light, love, whatever you want to call it, sparkle, joy, delight. I'm enthusiasm. So take me with a grain of salt. But here comes another one. No two are the same, and it should have gotten a little bigger. If you want to put a comment down or put 5 emojis or put exclamation marks plus emojis or emoji, exclamation mark, emoji, or just the plus symbol. It could be anything. A plus. You don't actually have to reveal anything, but you could show that you were there. What you're doing is not just giving me some feedback, but you're helping somebody else be brave to maybe go back, play it again, and get a little, call it a hug from the universe, from angels, from all the beings that live within you and around you 24/7. And imagine you're a loving being on the other side, your guardian angel, angels, a light being, Mary, Jesus, Muhammad. They're not judging you. This isn't, it's not that you can do no wrong. We don't want to go that far. And it's not that that isn't the case, too. They're pure love and light. They're not burdened with all the thinking that we are. Can you imagine? It's like trying to run a marathon and you've been given a cinder block. It's not a lot of fun to have this thinking. The second you realize what thinking is, the second you see negativity, the second you realize thinking is negativity, 1% of 1% if it's a minor thought. If you're doing outright hating and screaming and shouting at someone who they don't deserve it, that's a lot of negativity. Eek, or worse. Soon as you recognize that's like a hot stove from those 1970s hot stoves that my kitchen's over there that turns the coil bright hot red. You ever touched one of those as a kid? You'll never do it again. Maybe you did it one more time, but once you've touched it twice, you'll never absolutely get near another stovetop. That's what this is like. It might take a whole lifetime, or two lifetimes, or three lifetimes, or 50 years to realize, holy cow, I'm dumping on people. I'm dumping on myself. And that this does not help anybody. It doesn't change the situation. It's only creating or generating more negativity, which is what negativity wants. It wants to be fed more negativity. As soon as you start doing love, allowing, as soon as you are love, you're shiny, there'll be less corruption, less harm, less bad stuff going on. There's more light coming in. So all that stuff has no idea that it's kind of wrapping up as we speak. It might take a couple of years, might take up to 2030, but you can ask an angel about that. That's above my pay grade. I kind of stay out of the big picture details. I'm just here to remind folks that there's more love, more possibility, more fun, more zip, more cha-cha-cha dance steps, in the present moment if you'll just allow for it. If you'll not look more, you don't have to do anything more. Stop the doing. That little book, Listening to Angels, is absolutely fabulous. It's a short little read, but it packs a wallop. I mean, at one point, Archangel Michael explains that angels aren't here to prove anything. Take it or leave it. It's unconditional love that they're offering. No one's forcing you to play nice, to be loved, to be kind, to be compassionate, to be sparkly. And that's where I love my 1-star rating on Amazon. That person shrunk a long critique down to one sentence, and I'll take it. That's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen for transformation. Uh, what is it again? I've got a really grand vision with angels or something like that. But there's absolutely just like no content in the book, and that's fine. That's actually an incredible full circle delivery from where it was at one point. But you have to have patience to meet angels. You have to be aware. You have to be willing to get out of your own trauma. And there's a lot of trauma out there. You know, loved ones passing, you split up, you're on your fifth divorce in 5 days. You're that unlucky, but you got a good divorce attorney. I lost my pooch. I mean, I'm still thinking about my dog every other day or every day. I miss her, but she was sick. So I know she had to go over the Rainbow Bridge. I've talked to her, I hear her. Household family members have seen her 3 times. So it's okay. And it takes time. But we've got a lot worse going on for human beings, a lot of tragedy and a lot of crazy stuff. But I think it was Seneca that said, you're not given stuff unless you were like equipped to handle it. And all this stuff, if you can switch your perspective, like what Gary Zukav was talking about, or Wayne Dyer, when you realize that this is actually building a giant foundation for you for greater heights for your experience here on earth, it becomes a real learning curve and experience. Angels are ready to help you with that. Angels are ready to help you just with the slowing down and the paying attention and trusting that you already have that connection incredibly. You're already like a giant fiber optic cable completely plugged into every angel. You can only handle a few or a couple dozen in a short period of time. And there's a couple angels that'll send you loop de looped. They'll flow so much love and light through you, you almost get like high as a kite. Um, but they can help you expand on so many fronts. They can heal you. They can alter your path. You'd have to kind of know more about your path to want to alter it. But um, what will you allow for? Good luck with this. But what will you allow for? And I'll put selenite up. Put your hand up, feel what you can feel, don't judge. Close your eyes and see if you can hear a sound bowl. In fact, hit pause and have a little 30 seconds or so. Or don't hit pause. Here, I'll try to put this up a little longer. Let the selenite do its job. Let her do her job. I'll make it a her. You'll hear a female voice. She's very good at answering questions. You can get a sound bath, like a concert, physically hear it. I've had a lot of guests lately get this as a concert. So what's cool is I'm off the hook for trying to prove anything, and I'm not trying to prove anything. I got photos of angels. I think I took like, I don't know, thousands and thousands of photos. I only used like 50 of them maybe or so, or maybe 100. I don't know. And they'll move. They'll change colors. Historical photos will move. I'm off the hook. People do joint seeing, joint feeling. You can meet angels as humans. It's not me in a suit dressing like someone else. I don't even know where you live. But at some point, it gets a little silly how humans are stuck to power, thinking, knowledge, not the big type of universal knowledge and love, but knowledge that like zero sum. I think I said that right. Some people gain at the expense of many others. Woof. Uh, yeah. So don't let anybody put fear in your path. Don't let anybody tell you how it is. Don't listen to me. But if you could just be like, hey, angels, I could use a Calgon take me away. I could use a lot of help. You get in here and help me out any which way and loose. Um, Help me have more fun. Help me experience more love. Help me transition my life. What do I want to say? Rejigger everything. Help me go through the Christmas Carol without the Christmas Carol. Help me have a lot more fun. Let me come out the other end with a lot of joy. I don't need 6 near-death experiences. And by the way, our guests are incredible. Dr. Yvonne Kaysan, 5 near-death experiences. Five. Five. One was a plane crash, crazy. In one of those episodes, she's been on a bunch now. She details that. She was a doctor before she was a psychotherapist. So medical doctor, went down in a plane crash, crazy. Ingrid Hankala, NASA oceanographer, 3 near-death experiences, but one is enough. Trisha Barker is one of my favorites. She's incredible. Michelle Clare out of Arizona. Michelle had 3. She's been all over the map for different podcasts and shows and stuff like that. I think she has a new book out. Who else? Just a ton of near-death experiences. I'm guessing we have at least 30 to 50 of those guests. Ian Stenlake, Australian actor, Sea Patrol, if you know it, or any of the musicals down under. He's so great at stage production, musicals, singing, stuff like that. Guys and Dolls, I think, and just a ton of others. He was on the show. Oof, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful interview. A White House physician to the U.S. president. I never get the dates right, but like 8 or 9 years through maybe 3 presidents. So this is the White House physician to the U.S. president, Rear Admiral, retired today, U.S. Navy, but active doctor in Arizona, and just graceful, fun. You can feel her energy when she talks, and she shared some beautiful stuff on air. But I got her angels. I forget if it was on camera, off camera. A lot of these guests take steps off air in a bigger way. The point of the show isn't to prove anything. I don't really keep track. I do know that there's only been a handful of guests who've taken like 0 steps off camera, on air. Only a couple have been like this, shut tight like an oyster and just doing their thing. And that's cool. You got to have all the contrast, is what makes planet Earth so cool. It's the contrast, exactly how it is. That it's love. I'm going to do a Netflix quote. I can't remember the movie. Love is what allows us to appreciate all the contrast in all its flavors. Something like that. We had even one guest, it doesn't matter who, they re recorded to avoid catching the sage, feeling the energy, and seeing the light. And so he or she, we re recorded. Most of the time, those folks won't even show up or can't make it to the taping date. There's sort of like an invisible divine intervention going on that the people who just aren't ready yet can't show up. So that happens. And so I have had out of, if we have probably, I'm going to guess we have 320 of the main shows taped, 300, and we're booked 347 out to October of 2026. Well, anyhow, we have like at least we're 4 months ahead for tapings. But we've had for all of those shows, plus the other almost 100 for APL Spotlight Series, the Mind Body Spirit panels, we probably had 60 or 70 guests. No show or not be able to come back on when they verbally said, even lightly verbally said, we could come, they would want to come back on. We've had plenty of guests come back on. So I've got some of my favorite guests come back on 2, 3, 4, 5. I think the record now is 11 times. A shout out to Paul Sugar in Arizona. If you ever wanted an individual mentor to break you into all this, grab him. He's a 50-year mindfulness meditation guy, Scottsdale, Arizona. Paul Sugar. He was a remote viewer of Stargate program. That's why I have him back on. He's studied everything, Kabbalah, yoga, this, that. He's been there and done it. He has a Billy Crystal laugh. He's super patient, super, not stoic, but he's cool as a cucumber. He's like Cool Hand Luke, Paul Newman. And he's also been all around the universe with his eyes shut. He's done out of body, and just a lot of fun. But I like to have guests who stay open back on as much as possible. I think every single guest coming on the show is offering something to you, the listener. So I feel like this show series, besides it being a lot of fun for me to meet people in this, what we'll call spiritual community or mankind out there. It's just a fun offering if you're trying to either get the plane out of the hangar, or you're already a professional pilot, you're just wanting to practice your loop-de-loops, or you're ready to upgrade to an F-18. It's not me you're listening to. Sometimes it's the guests, but I would argue it's angels behind the scenes that are stepping in. You're feeling the conversation. You could be doing something else, but you'll have a ball of light go by. In fact, I'll invite you to ask Penelope, my chief healing angel, not the one I go to for healing, but the one I would use for healing for others. Let her, there's a smiley face in there. If you look close, notice the rainbow light on the edges. Ask her to come by as the tiniest white ball of light. Why not? And with that, I'm going to wish everybody a happy 2026. Again, be sure to subscribe, like, share. We're on Spotify now, Angels, Positivity, and Love. Got one episode up. We're still figuring out how all this works. I think the 400 plus episodes are going to be all jumbled around. We're putting up some of the biggest names first. Lorna Byrne, who was on the show, Ariel Ford, the youngest Delta Force operator, Dale Comstock, that White House physician to the US president, Lee Woodruff, Bob Woodruff's wife, the Good Morning America reporter, probably Jennifer McLean and others. Just, the bigger names, you want to stick them on Spotify first. It's a much simpler algorithm. It's much more suited, from what I understand, according to AI and humans, to this type of programming. And so we won't be beating our heads against a wall with YouTube. We're not stopping recording for YouTube. We're just expanding a little bit. And with that, thank you so much. Really appreciate all the support. It's been a wonderful 3 years for this show. And God bless. Have fun. Thank you.